Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you all are doing well today. So actually, I've not been on this session for a very long time because I've had a whole lot of activities right on my hands, and this is actually born out of necessity. Ever since the news broke out, a lot of people have reached out to me, and the reason why we are having this conversation is very very important. I know some real estate investors. It's okay, office. All right, so a lot of real estate investors have actually reached out to me. A lot of people have responded out of panic, and I understand. Um, Everywhere is tense now. So what I'll be doing very quickly is that I'm going to be um, giving some important updates, more importantly to every real estate investors out there, more importantly those who have invested in this region. And I also want to quickly use this opportunity to say um, I apologize for not being around for a very long time. It's been an eventful week, an eventful month for me as a person, and I also want to quickly use this opportunity to appreciate everybody that has called to find out how busy I was. I've been very busy, and I've had loads of activities. So I want to start by saying a very big thank you to everybody, and let's just go into the conversation without wasting further time. So there was a news publication. It's not even an official news publication. Um, the reason why I was very um, how do I say this now? Why I was very reluctant, to bring this news basically to real estate investors, more importantly to the public. This is a YouTube channel of almost 2,000 subscribers, so I have a lot of audience. It's just quite unfortunate that my Facebook account has been suspended. I honestly don't know why. But before the suspension, I have over 3,005, followers on Facebook, and this obviously is that at least I have some considerable number of people who are relying on this information, and there are some couple of people who may also want to use this information that will be shared, okay, to make important decisions. So I cannot afford to give out unverified information. And in addition to this as well, I am a resident of Ibeju Lekki. I reside in Ibeju Lekki. So I will say I'll give the information objectively, without mincing words, and I will not say because of the fact that we want you to invest there, and we will withhold important information from you. So 2 days ago, there was a scare, a security scare in Bechuleki, and the reason, in fact, how I got to know about the scare basically was that my elder sister actually called me over the phone, and she instructed me to to withdraw my children from school. That there's been a reported attack of bandits. You know the way people give information, and I was like, sister, how come you got to know this information? I'm in Ibeju Lekki, and these are some of the things that are happening. So the thing is that there was an arrest 2 days ago. Some few individuals were arrested, and they were accused to be Fulani Herdsmen. And according to the information these people gave, they said they have been camping around in a place called Babadisa in Ibejuleki. And like I said at the commencement of this video, I was very, very reluctant, in bringing this information out, because I was, sometimes when you are giving out informations like this, it is very important that you allow verified sources, to give their own version of the narration. Verified source, of course, when I talk about verified sources, you know basically that reputable news outlets like Arise News, I've been on Arise for quite some time, and I was expecting them to report the situation, and they might have. I've not seen them report anything, and I was also looking at waiting on other news outlets to also report the situation, and they have not been. The situation has not also been reported. So I and that was why I was very reluctant to come online, because of the fact that for some of the people that have been following you, people will attest to the fact that we just don't share information, we just don't give news without confirming the authenticity of the news and some of the things. Now, some group of men were arrested. I think they were like five in numbers, and a lady was among them. And when they arrested them, they found things like machetes, daggers, and some amount of money. And according to the sources we had, basically, according to some of the information we gathered, basically, the information, although not totally verified by the reputable news outlets in Nigeria, but from oral sources from the people I personally interviewed, they were said to have been, some were said to have been arrested at two different locations. The first locations were areas where we had the Eleko Beach, and the other location that were said to be arrested were the Babadisa area of Ibeju Lekki. And if you have looked at the Babadisa area of Ibeju Lekki, you will notice basically that there's been a lot of settlement there. So one of the things I want to say basically is that the tension of insecurity has actually be increasing at a daily basis. They've been, some repeated attack. Hi, thanks for joining. Um, they've been some reported attacks, and of course, some school children were adopted. I said they were abducted, kidnapped in a school in around where I'm trying to yes, in Oyo State, and there've been other places too where some of these situations have been going on, and this is a scare. And we would I would say basically that there've been tensions everywhere. So it is very important that when we have informations like this, I think what we should do basically, and I love the fact that where those people were when they were arrested, one of the things I got to understand basically was that they were handed over to the appropriate, security agencies. So I would say basically that we should. Now, the reason why I was very, very reluctant to have this live session basically was that there was a press release that was released by the Lagos State Police Command, and they said um, most of these information that were shared basically were false, that those people are not herdsmen, and they said that it is not appropriate to cause some panic and raise tensions, unnecessary tension. And then one of the things I would say basically that has happened is that we need to be very, very conversant with some of the things that we are doing. More importantly, if you are sharing information. Now, the reason why I'm having this live session basically was that four of my Ibeju Lekki real estate investors have reached out to me ever since news broke out. And this is my recommendation. Now, okay, I said at the commencement of this video that some couple of people were arrested. So I'm not coming here to deny the facts. Now, what is yet to be ascertained is basically their mission in that location. And the security agencies have not given a complete press statement release to affirm if those guys were truly headsmen. Now, because of the fact that there's a rising tension in Nigeria, everybody right now is an headsman. Everybody right now is a suspect. And the news went viral. It was on TikTok, even this reputable YouTube, Mr. Okocha Happy Marcel. I've been following him for a very, very long time. He also posted the video. And one of the reasons basically why I've been very, very reluctant, okay, like I said, to post the news basically was that this news was not released in major news agencies. Probably they are investigating the matter to ascertain if these people are truly Fulani bandits, if they were kidnappers, if they were surveying the location, or if they were planning an attack. So for very first time, let me quickly say that there have not been any cases of um, kidnapping. There have not been cases of attack, and the every situation right now seems calm. And I also want to applaud the Lagos State Police Command of the area G of Ibeju Lekki. I'll say on this live video that you people are doing a very, very fantastic job. Ever since the news broke out, I can categorically assure you that security activities in this axis have been tightened. And actually, this is the first time that we're witnessing situations like this. And I would say basically that this is commendable. It's applauding. And will Lagos be the next place of attack? Though a lot of people have been saying the bandits are in Lagos. I saw some videos too of people saying some places of Ikorodu that they intercepted some vehicles conveying bullets. Some people were arrested. It will just be, I would say, it will be quite unfortunate now for you to be a Fulani. More importantly, if because the most suspected people right now are the Fulani races, so there might be cases of someone who might just be, innocently doing his business and might be caught up in the situation, and there might be tendency that such person may be accused to be an headsman. And thank God there was no jungle justice. If it were to be the Lagos of the past, I can assure you basically that those people arrested might have been, manhandled and probably, executed right and it's also quite. I'll also say I want to applaud every security agencies of the Lagos State Police Command who actually, responded. And like I said, we are still awaiting, their home press release concerning the situation. And once we get, a first-hand press release concerning the situation, we will definitely let you know. So that obviously is the situation on ground. So some people were harmed. Now, when we talk about harmed, um, firearms were not seized or collected from them. The only thing that was collected was their machetes, some daggers, and some cash. And a lot of people said one of the reasons why they responded the way they did was due to the fact that they said these guys seem okay. They might be planning an attack. In fact, some people even went further to say basically that they were the money they saw them were ransom money. I said, of course, what we need to understand basically is that when situations like these arises, there will be speculations. A lot of people will be giving their own opinion, and situations like this, like I said, it's quite unfortunate that insecurity right now is making everybody, to panic. And basically, we obviously cannot ascertain um, some of the basic situations right now. But however, it is quite important that we put the situation under control. Okay, so we should not probably put ourselves under tension, and we should try as much as we can, okay, to not panic. So the first message I'll be giving to every prospective or already invested Ibeju Lekki investors basically is that let us call for calm. Let us call for calm. This is not the best time. This is not the best time to panic. Basically, it is very, very obvious. Isaac, can you just move this one a little bit? Okay, so it is quite obvious that everywhere is tensed. There've been reported cases of kidnappings. Your state. We've had them in Ekiti. We had kidnappings in Kwara. And everybody. The truth basically is that many people are wishing. I'm not afraid to say this on live session. Many people are wishing, okay, basically, that such unfortunate situation should happen in Lagos. And the reason why I'm saying many people are wishing basically is that some people just have this natural hatred for Lagos as its zone. Maybe because of the preference, or maybe, in fact, a lot of people have even said there's a lot of hype. And in this kind of situation, it is very important that we verify the source of every information. A lot of people come online because they want online credibility, they want followers, they want a lot of things. And in the process of doing that, they spread unverified information, thereby causing public panic, public, scare. And this basically has turned out to be very, very not, not acceptable, and it's not even good, because a lot of people right now probably may have some, medical conditions that necessarily, demands that people should stay off some of this situation. So the first thing I'll say basically, or one of the things I'll say, is that some persons were arrested, some whether they are Fulanis or they are Hausas, but they happen to be of the northern extraction, okay? And ever since this situation has happened, I can assure you basically that the security situation of this axis has been heightened. And I can assure you basically that right now, in fact, even when I'm just making this video from, it's from the same Ibeju Lekki, so there's really okay, so there's really nothing to worry about. We should not just create unnecessary scare. We should not. Okay. So a lot of people have said, in fact, there was a video of a woman I saw yesterday, and the woman was saying basically that she saw a bandit inside a bush or something. Now, the reason why I'm actually making this video is not to erase the possibility that there might be an attack and there might not be an attack. I'm not ruling out the possibility that something cannot happen. But what I'm trying to say basically is that we need to calm down, analyze, and understand the situation. There has not been any attack yet. So please discard or disregard any information that is saying there's been an attack, or there was an attack on the school, or there'll be an attack on the school. That is that has not happened, and we sincerely hope it doesn't. Now, secondly, we should also state the facts that ever since these situations have happened, first of all, I want to quickly applaud the residents of Eleko, Ibeju Lekki. I want to also address, the residents of major people in that axis. The first thing I want to applaud them for basically is that I was amazed and of course overwhelmed with the level of security consciousness that most people of this axis have. Okay, and I would say basically that that is highly, highly commendable. Well, basically, I'll say, without any fear of contradiction or condemnation, basically, is that it's quite um, unfortunate that as a nation, in the 21st century, in this age of technological advancement and growth and development, we find ourselves having, this conversation. It's quite unfortunate, and we should not, we should have better intellectual and mind engaging, conversations, like better conversations, transforming conversations. We should not be talking about what has happened or why security, but like I said at the commencement of this video, it's just quite unfortunate that that is the situation we are faced as a nation, and it's quite sad. But what we must now do basically is, number one, not to give ourselves hypertension, okay? Because I don't want our blood pressures to high to increase out of fear of something that has not been validated. So that is the first thing I'm trying to state here, for us to have, a meaningful and effective conversation. Secondly, what must you do if you are an investor in this region, or if you are a resident of this community? I am a resident, but where we reside is way, way, way far from this. And to the glory of God, there's some security architecture of where we reside, basically. So we need to understand that responding appropriately is one of the most important thing that we should prioritize. Response, because you see, when situations like this arises, if you don't analyze and understand what you're supposed to do, you may respond inappropriately, and it might, get to a situation basically whereby things may go out of hand. Okay, so we should respond. So, what should you do as a resident of that of that community? The first thing I would advise every resident of Ibeju Lekki and other areas in Lagos should do basically is that they should work hand in hand with the available security agencies. Now, if you notice or if you have been observing some abnormalities or some unusual movement or influx of people you don't know, it is very important. Now, what many people do basically is that when people have important information at their disposal, instead of them to share this information with the appropriate authorities that can salvage or provide, a solution to this, they decide, to share it inappropriately, thereby creating public tension and aggravating the situation. Now, I want to start by saying, the residents of Eleko, those who apprehended those people. Now, I did not say they are bandits. I did not say they are headsmen. Out, because you see, we are still awaiting a press statement from the police force of Ibeju Lekki to either confirm or denounce the situation. However, what we need to do basically is that we need to be observant, and if you notice anything, instead of sharing it online to create public scare, tension, and aggravate the situation, endeavor, okay, to share it with the appropriate security um parastatals in your region, not just only in Ibeju but in other places. Now, if we have been sharing this information and there are no adequate responses, then you are at liberty, to create an awareness. Now, people in some situations will claim to be creating an awareness, and at the same time they are aggravating the situations, and that basically will make the situation worse. And so it is very important that we respond appropriately to situations, more importantly security related situations. So we should be very, very observant and call the attention, okay, every security agencies. Then my message now will go to the governor of the state in the person of His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. First of all, I love the response of the Ibeju Lekki police. In fact, all throughout today, we've had security patrol van, and I also spoke with one of our ballers in this region. Of course, ballers are traditional rulers, and he said he has mandated every local security guy to keep moving and then report some unsuspected or suspected movements and heavy irregularities. So that obviously right now is the situation of things. So it is very important that we don't create unnecessary panic. So as a resident, please be very, very mindful of your movements. And of course, this is a time basically whereby, because it's not just about this place, there's security tension right now, and everybody can attest to the fact that there's and for us not just to have walking through dangers or troubles that can be avoided, it is very important that we are very, very mindful. Okay, security right now is a responsibility of everybody, not like doing the work of police, but to be security conscious right now is government responsibility, and we should also look at that as well. So that it is now for every real estate investors. Someone actually, I got a message while I was driving down to this particular location. I got a call from someone, and it was like, I thought you said Lagos is safe, and what should we now do? In fact, there was a friend of mine who owns a property in Ibeju Lekki, Okay, yeah, I told him I was going to, share his our conversation, which he approved. One thing about Smart basically is that Smart just called me, he said, Adesari, he said it's Yoruba that I heard that these people are already in Ibeju Lekki. Thank God you even said that my three-bedroom apartment, my three-bedroom bungalow, because he has a bungalow very not far from that Eleko address. He said, can I get somebody, to buy for 50 million? After all, I even need money. How frequent do I even go to the house? I spend most of my days, my workplace is on the island here, so I only go to my house maybe once in a while. And this is actually going to lead to my next aspect of this conversation. This is not a time to panic. This is not a time to panic. At the commencement of this session, I said, and I'm going to repeat my conversation again. I said this was a public scare. Now, whether or not, okay, that these guys are going to attack or they are planning to attack, I can assure you that whatever motive that most of these guys may be intending to do, they won't have a soft playing ground in Lagos. They won't. Now, let me also say that an attack has not been carried out yet. So I would say, first of all, kudos to everybody, every citizen of this region who rose up to the situation, addressed the situation, handled the situation intelligently, and in the process of doing so, they were able to avoid further escalations of the problem. So the thing is that if their intention is to attack Lagos, they won't have a level playing ground in Lagos, not because of the fact that, how do I say this now? Lagos is special or Lagos is this. Now, I'm also going to state this very, very clearly. I am not saying that there won't be an attack, and I'm not saying that there will be an attack. Please, whenever I'm making my points in conversations that is of highly sensitive of this nature, I am always trying to be as plain as possible and as objective as I can. So please, I don't want to be difficult because you see, as I'm having this live session right now, some bloggers will take this video, they will cut some important thing and they will say, Adejari said there won't be this. No. So whether or not there will be an attack, the first thing I can say basically is that they won't have a easy participation or a easy movement in Lagos like they've had in other states. Now, is it that the people are harmed? Is it because of the fact that many people are anticipating the attack? No, don't misquote me. What I'm trying to say, in essence, basically, is that the first thing we need to understand is that larger percent of investments in Lagos are in these axis. So even if, let us assume that the government seems to be overwhelmed at this point in time, and there are a lot of inappropriateness or some situations that the government, like I'm saying, it's an assumption. I'm not saying government will not have. Say, let's just assume. Do you know that apart from the fact that government is intervening, there are billionaires who have investments in this region? And whenever a region where most of their investment is plagued by insecurity, it will affect their investment. So I can categorically tell you that some group of individuals, more important, people who have investments here, okay, can come together and organize a security operative and minimize this risk. That's number one. Number two is that there have been larger concentration of security activities in this region. Now, the reason why I am coming out, okay, to explain some of these things to you is because I reside in this region. I've been in this region for quite some time. And whenever I'm making my important contributions like this, I'm always very, very open, and at the same time as objective as I can. So there are a lot of things that will there are a lot of things at stake. Then number two, the indigenes basically are very, very observant. Now, if it was to be in other places, okay, if it were to be in other places, probably most of those people wouldn't have been discovered, or their hideout wouldn't have been, because they said there was an hideout. I was told, I am not affirming online that there was an hideout. I was told that there was an hideout, and they were able to capture those guys. And the people, those guys that were captured, took them to their hideout. I never saw an hideout, so I am not affirming or acknowledging that there's an hideout. But I was told there's an hideout, and they've been able. I can assure you that that hideout right now is being paraded every day. Now, if there will now be a possibility of an attack. Now, in my last live session, I had a conversation with some people, and one of the things I said basically is that if there will be an possible attack, there are different models that that attack may be carried out. I'm not saying they will, I'm saying if they may, if there are possibilities an attack will, because you see, we need to understand and we need to establish a fact that as far as the economy of the nation is concerned, Lagos is a hot zone, hot short zone. And institutions like this, I can guarantee you that whosoever is in charge of this insecurity, I can assure you, I'm saying this, that Lagos will definitely be a place they will certainly want to attack. So if there's going to be an attack, if there's a possibility of an attack, the areas that are prone most likely to this attack are the suburbs, the boundaries, like Ibeju Lekki and Ekpe, Ibeju Lekki and Ijebu, the riverine area, and mostly the undeveloped areas of Ibeju Lekki, those bushes, those places. So if there's going to be an attack, if there's going to be an infiltration, the areas that are prone, that might be prone to these infiltrations, are the abandoned bushes in that area. So this is my advice. If you must land bank, if you must invest, because we know that the cities of today were the bushes of yesterday. That's number one. However, it is very, very important, very, very essential that you must work with a real estate development company who have a security architecture to protect your investment. Now, in my last video, before the security situation got heightened and escalated to the present situations that we have, I mentioned and I said that because of the fact that there are so many uncertainties in the saying axis, I made a recommendation that if it is possible, that you should try as much as you can to stop every investment that you are doing in those axes until the situation is adequately addressed. And I am going to say the same. There is no attack as at the time I am making this video. I am not saying there will not be an attack, and I'm not saying there will be an attack. The reason why I'm not making this authentic or this assurance basically is that the entire nation is tensed. And there are some couple of individuals who are saying that everywhere is surrounded. So if there's anybody that is giving you an assurance or a possibility that nothing is going to happen, then that person must be a security expert who might have surveyed or put some security apparatus in that area to ensure that everything is under control. So at the moment right now, I am not giving a guarantee. What I'm trying to say in essence basically is that this is the best time to diversify. This is the best time to diversify. So if all you have been doing is land banking, buy land that there is no possibility of development in the next 3, 4, 5 years, this is the best time for you to. So insecurity should not stop you from investing in Nigeria, but insecurity should help or enable you to invest smart, because regardless of this situation, there is still need for real estate. However, the most important thing you need to do basically is that you critically analyze the situation, identify the areas that might be prone to some of these attacks, and take your investment in a place whereby your investment can be safeguarded. Because you see, we are in a era and a dispensation whereby a lot of people don't seem to know what they are doing. So if I were to be you, if I am an investor, for all what I've done in Ibeju Lekki at the moment, not when I'm talking about Ibeju Lekki, I mean Ibeju Lekki, they are well civilized, well managed, well planned estate in Ibeju Lekki. So it is not actually professional for someone to make a generalization. So there are some places in Ibeju Lekki that are very, very adequately planned, where you will get good return, where your property appreciation will make sense. And there are some areas in Ibeju Lekki that you are waiting 3 or 5 years for your investment to make sense. So the first thing we need to do basically is for you to try as much as you can, okay, to identify this area and begin to diversify. So in areas that are prone, that might be prone to some of these attacks. Now, what are the areas? According to some of my observation, basically, the areas that might be prone are these areas that are boundaries between neighboring states. More importantly, states that they've had, repeated situations or repeated, occurrences of insecurity. So if I were to be you, what I would do is that I will pause now some of the investment I have in this area until the situation is brought under control. Because the truth of the matter is, if you choose to put all your investments in an area that is prone to security situations, even I myself making this video, I will not even go there, because you see, nobody want to put themselves out to an unnecessary risk. So this is when we begin to diversify. I'm not saying there's an attack, you please. Bloggers, because I know a lot of people will storm my page. Ever since I dropped the notification that we're going to be having this conversation, I've had repeated people. And on this live stream, the reason why I decided to have the live stream today on the Wednesday evening is that if I had put it on the weekend, I would have close to almost 200 people watching. And most of the people that are watching are not just watching because they want to learn. Probably some people are actually working so that they can pick my words, toast it anyhow, and create a false narrative. So I'm not ascertaining basically that there might be an attack, and I'm not ascertaining that there might not be an attack. What I'm trying to say in essence basically is that diversify. Limit your investment in bushes, 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 bushes. More importantly, these areas that are prone. You can only invest in some of these areas when the developer shows you a comprehensive plan on how he or she intends to manage the situation. So what we'll be doing today or in other places basically is that we're waiting for the press release from the Ibeju Lekki State Police Command. We are also waiting for notable information. I want to apologize for starting very, very late. I had to start very late because of the fact I had some couple of things. And one of the reasons why I'm going to be leaving this live session soon. So by the special grace of God, okay, I'll be giving an updated security report on what is happening in this area. More importantly, areas that are very prone to this attack. Now, the reason why I tagged it Fulani Herdsmen attacked in the Ibeju Lekki basically was that there was an arrest. Okay, there was an arrest. I can categorically tell you that there was an arrest. Okay, and we are waiting for a press release for the police and other security agencies to report. I'm going to be ending this live session now very quickly, simply because I have other important things I need to attend to. However, by the special grace of God, we're going to have this live session again, the continuation. So what we're going to be doing, okay, in this time or in this axis basically is that I'll be giving a comprehensive details of what has been done basically. So it's going to be an intense and educative. And so this is why you have, if you have been following me on this, my job basically is to give you real life situations. I don't speculate. I don't create unnecessary treasure. I don't tell you what is. So I don't read news from bloggers or from people who I don't know and tell them this is what I want. No, I report situations the way they are so that we can have a detailed knowledge, and of course so that this can guide you your investment. Okay. So I want to start by saying a very big thank you to everybody that was part of this live session. It was so we're going to be having a detailed conversation by the special grace of God on Friday. So I'll be dropping other videos as well. Thank you very much. See you.